Hi everyone, I'm Samantha
And I'm Alison.
and we are the Garcia sisters. Welcome to our first episode of the Night Owl Chronicles. In case for those that don't know what the Night Owl Chronicles is, it's a young adult book series of horror, paranormal and everything that hides in the shadows. We are very excited about our very first episode. Absolutely, we're ecstatic. But we're here to talk about our first book in the series called The Door.
The Door.
So, Alison, what can you tell us?
Yeah, we're very, very proud of it. The Door is, and we've got the cover behind us for those that are actually watching the YouTube channel. And we also have our mascot, which is the owl behind us. So for those who are not familiar with The Door is the first book in the series of the Night Owl Chronicles. And it was originally released last year. And we were both lucky enough to be invited by the great team at the Melbourne Writers' Festival. And we officially launched our book there, and we had a fantastic time. The team were great, the people who attended were even better, and we got to talk about what we love the most, which is reading, writing, and all scary things. And yeah, so we are very proud of it. And like Samantha said, for those that do not know much about The Door, or who are new to it, so new to this podcast, Sam's actually going to read the official synopsis from the back of the book, so you can have a good idea of what The Door is about.
And before I do read the synopsis, with our book series, they're all connected to each other. So in book one, there will be characters that will appear, and they will later appear in book two and book three, and it all ties down to the first book.
Yeah, so Sam's actually right. There's actually a reason for every character that we introduce. There is, just to give you a heads up, in The Door there is a character called Isabel, and as quickly as we introduce her, she actually disappears. But just to let you know, she's actually the main character for book 2, which is titled Cinema 4. So there is always a reason why the character's introduced. So Sam made a very good point there. There is always a reason why you will see a character, even if they add no value to the story. We have introduced them for a very good reason.
Very good reason, yes. Yeah. Okay.
Take it away, Sam.
Whatever you do, don't open the door. Ever since a violent robbery forced Josh Riley and his family to move to a new house, he's been on edge. There's a strangely unsettling new student at school, and he can't sleep at night. The nightmares and insomnia from his anxiety are bad enough. But when he's home alone, something comes knocking at his front door. In the deepest, darkest part of the night, he hears the house rattle and the doorknob turn. He catches glimpses of unexplainable things, bloodshot eyes staring back through the peephole, strange symbols around the door and racing shadows, but no one believes him. Have the thieves tracked him down? Is it merely a neighborhood prankster? Or is Josh losing his mind? The Door is a heart-pounding, page-turning thriller that will keep you guessing until the very end.
So as you can see, there's a lot going on for poor Josh Riley. He's going through quite a lot. So we actually want to let you know the reason why we're doing this. Because we've got book 2 coming out soon, which is titled Cinema 4, which we know that the protagonist is called Isabel, who happens to be his the neighbour of Josh Riley. And we wanted to take you back to the start, to where it all began, which is The Door. And what we'll be doing, we will be reading chapters 1 to 5 over the course of the next 5 weeks. So it will be story time. But please don't worry, this podcast that we have created now, the Night Owl Chronicles podcast,
it will be ongoing.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be ongoing, and we're going to be discussing after, story time. We will be discussing all things about reading, writing, how we write, even everything. Our ideas, really.
Ideas, inspiration, where do we get everything from? Yeah. So you will learn a lot about us.
Yeah, so even all things horror, all things paranormal, strange stories that we've experienced, or we'd even like to later find out stories about you. Weird things that have happened, have no explanation, and I tell you, we've got a lot of stories that's happened to us that has no explanation. But not to drag this on too much, we're going to get straight into it, and we are going to read chapter 1 of The Door. And chapter 1 is actually called It Begins. So, Samantha, would you like to start?
I'll start, yes. Stop pinching your skin. You'll leave an ugly bruise like last time, Josh thought. She saw that. I bet the super intelligent Dr. Alan Young saw me doing that. That's why she's scribbling something on her enormous notepad. Her blue pen is moving fast, and the period must indicate something final in her thoughts about me. What is she writing? What does she really think of me? He thought. I looked down at my poor left hand to see the skin between my thumb and index finger turn a slight shade of reddish purple. Damn this anxiety. Why did I drink that coffee before I came here? I didn't need it. Also, I just liked the shot of caramel they put in, I thought. Then what happened? Dr. Young asked, with a slight frown. Why was she frowning at me? She must have been concerned for me. I didn't see her as often as I should have.
I vowed not to skip any more sessions. She was a psychiatrist, and she wanted to help me. Therefore, I should let her. Then, when I wake up, Josh said, the nightmare is over, and I'm back in my room, and I am safe. But I'm covered in sweat, and I feel... He stopped. Scared? Dr. Young said. No, I feel exhausted. How's your anxiety? She asked. I usually feel anxious later in the day when I'm out doing stuff. I sometimes get anxious at school. And how are you handling that? Well, I actually go to the toilet. It's quiet in there, and I'm away from all the noise. I sit on the toilet, and I just breathe. You say that you have nightmares at least twice a week, and right before it gets too scary, you wake up. Yeah, it happens all the time, Josh said. I had another nightmare 2 nights ago. Tell me about that, Josh. The truth is, I didn't want to go over the details again, and I think she knew that. She leaned in and pressed her hand on my knee, and her hand felt warm. A comforting breeze from outside swept in, making the thin white curtains and small plants that were scattered around her office move as if they were dancing to a slow song. I untangled my fingers and rested my bruised hand on the grey pillow. Take your time. There's no rush, Dr. Young said, taking back her hand so she could write. I stopped, unable to find even the simplest words. I know it's not easy, Josh, but remember that nightmares are just that, very unpleasant dreams.
They don't make you feel good, but they can't hurt you. In fact, nightmares should be celebrated, she said. What? Josh said. Yes, you heard right. They should be celebrated because you're subconsciously dealing with it, whether you like it or not. Your sleeping mind is expressing and releasing all your internal fears that you don't wish to face in waking life. Oh, what else could I say? She's a professional one, Josh thought. Now, inhale slowly and exhale gently. And tell me more about your nightmare, she asked. I could feel my heart beating unusually hard against my chest. I wondered whether I was too young to have a heart attack. All right, here goes, I said, automatically forming each of my hands into tight, anxious balls. I felt pain in both my wrists. Relax, Josh, Dr. Young said, looking at my fist. Yeah, I had a hard time doing that. I have a hard time doing most things nowadays. Before I continued, my tired eyes travelled to Dr. Young. Her Asian eyes stared back at me with pure compassion. She brushed her thick black shoulder-length hair away from her face and gave me a polite smile. The breeze seemed to be colder now. I'm in the old house again with my parents. You liked that house, didn't you? She asked. Yes, very much. I grew up in that house. There was so many good memories there. Anyway, I could see my parents from where I'm standing. And she asked.
I swallowed hard. Damn, when did this lump form in my throat? I can see my dad. He's in the living room. What's he doing? She asked. Dad's not doing anything. He can't do anything because he's lying on the floor. He's unconscious. There's a small trail of blood coming from the side of his head. I hope he's not dead. I'm so afraid. Your mother, where is she? She continued. She's standing in front of me. She's crying. Mum is trying to talk, but none of her words make any sense. Why is that? Because she's panicking. She doesn't understand what's happening. She's so afraid. And what are you doing, Josh? I didn't want to go on. She knew what I was going to say. The nightmare was a perfect replica of what had happened in real life. I took another deep inhale in and held it for a few seconds before I released it. That felt good. I almost wanted to change the subject and delay my response. So as I looked around the office, everything was grey and brown. There were 2 bookcases full of colourful books, a coffee table in the middle with well-being magazines, and another small plant. Geez, Dr. Young really likes her plants, I thought. Josh? She asked. Huh? Oh, sorry, he said. That's fine. Take your time. What are you doing in your nightmare? I'm on my knees, I said, my voice weakening. Is there anybody else with you? Yes, I stuttered.
Who else is there? Dr. Young asked, moving in closer. Her eyes locked onto mine, yet I felt safe with her. There are 2 men. I don't know who they are, but I'm afraid of them. They came here to hurt us. They came to steal from us. And I know if we don't comply with them, they'll hurt us more, Josh said. They're intruders, right? They broke into your house, she said. Yes, I'm afraid of what they'll do to my mum, because she won't stop screaming and crying. She can't control her emotions. She's so scared. I want to comfort her, Josh said. What then? Dr. Allen asked. One of the men is standing behind me. However, I can feel his gun against the back of my head. The barrel is cold. I think he'll shoot me. I start to panic as I wonder what will happen next. Will he pull the trigger? Will he kill my mother? Am I going to die tonight? Is this it? Is this how it ends? Josh said. Did he pull the trigger? Did you die in your nightmare? No, Josh replied. The man with the gun wallops the back of my head and I can hear my mother screaming. I wish he'd shut up. Unfortunately, I know she's making things worse. I tried to reach the back of my head, but the man stops me from moving. My mother's screams are making the man agitated. I can hear the other man's footsteps coming toward me. When I look up at him, he punches me in the face. He hits my left cheek. It hurts. And I finally collapse to the floor. I can hear them threatening my mother. What are they threatening to do? She asked.
They keep saying that they'll kill me if we don't give them money or jewellery. Then, the only thing I feel is pain. I feel it everywhere. It hurts so much. Why is that? She asked. The men. They're both punching and kicking me. There's no way for me to get up and defend myself. They're so strong. I'll never forget their faces. And what do they look like? She continued. I hesitated. I actually didn't want to continue. It was too much for me. I felt sweat erupting on my forehead and behind my neck. I stopped. Damn, I can't finish this sentence, I thought. Get a grip, Josh. Face your fear, Josh. Face your demons. She was right. The nightmare was over, both the real one and the one in my head. The one with the gun has light blonde hair and pale blue eyes. His skin is fair, almost reddish. The other one, who keeps kicking my stomach, has dark brown hair and big dark eyes. They're both tall and slim. They're both wearing black, but they look filthy and greasy. Also, I know by the crazy look in their eyes and by the way they stop to scratch their scabby skin that they're high on some drug. I keep thinking, when will this pain end? When will I be able to actually defend myself? And do they stop? She asked. Yes, eventually. My mother falls to the floor. She's crying so much and begging them to stop. I can hear police cars approaching. Their tyres skid across the lawn, coming to an abrupt stop. I just know that one of the neighbours must have heard my mother's desperate pleas. And do the police come inside and rescue you?
I don't dream that part. I know in real life, I was knocked out before they arrived. I remember, in real life, the man with the gun looked at me with the evilest smirk and stomped his foot on my face. I can still see his heavy foot coming at me. I completely blacked out, Josh said. What do you remember from when you woke up? When I woke up, I was in the hospital. My mother was sitting next to me. She looked so tired, so defeated. The nurse said that I had been unconscious for 3 days. The men had kept hitting me even after I'd passed out. How do you know that? She asked. My mother said they did. When the police banged on the door, she said that they both fled out the back and they threatened that they'd come back and kill me. Yet here you are, alive and well, Dr. Yan said with a smile. I don't know about the well part. You're here, aren't you? She said. Yeah, but I'm still working on the well part, Josh continued. Trust me, you'll get there. Your future self will thank you. I shifted in my seat and I suddenly felt uncomfortable. I'd seen Dr. Young only 3 times before, and I knew my mum had briefed her about what had happened to me because the first thing she said to me when I sat down for the first time in her office was that I was safe, that no one would come in here and hurt me. I was supposed to see her more often, but I couldn't handle it, I thought. I was trying really hard to be honest with myself, but I still couldn't believe what had happened in our home, our family home, the home that was supposed to be our sanctuary. My home was my happy place where I could be myself and spend time with my family.
How could those violent drug addicts come into our home just so they could steal and hurt us? I thought. I knew deep down that they only wanted petty stuff so that they could continue on with their drug habit. But I guess they got ambitious when they saw what we had. I mean, it's not our fault that my dad is a lawyer. In fact, he's a great lawyer, and that's why we could afford nice things. He worked very hard for everything we had, and I'm so happy he made a full recovery. So tell me, Josh, how are you holding up at school? Dr. Young asked. Well, as anybody could, I guess. And how are you handling homework? Is it too much? You know, senior year can be very stressful for some, especially if you put so much pressure on yourself to get into a specific college. It's fine. I just get too distracted now. I still don't know what I want to do when I graduate. You mentioned in our last session that you like writing. Have you thought about a career in journalism? It can be very rewarding, she said. Maybe. I like investigating stuff, but I haven't put enough thought into it. That's fine. You're still very young. You have time to figure it out, and when the time is right, you'll know what to do. I hope you're right, Josh said. And how's your mood lately? Well, I feel jumpy and sleepy at the same time. My mood goes up and down very quickly.
That's expected, Josh. It's only been 6 months since the attack occurred. You and your parents went through a very traumatic experience. Your body's still going through a period of adjustment. It's still in shock about that night. Your conscious mind knows that it's over, but your subconscious is still at war about what happened. It's no wonder you feel the way you do. It will take time. You can't rush it, she explained. I know I just want to feel better. You will, in good time. Tell me about your girlfriend. Emma is great. I still don't know what she sees in me, I said, letting out a light chuckle. My heart suddenly felt warm and fuzzy at the thought of her. I'm still amazed that she wants to be with me. I mean, she's this beautiful girl with a great attitude who is super supportive, and I'm here, a scruffy dog chasing its tail. Don't be so hard on yourself, Josh, Dr. Young said. You're fortunate to have great friends, a loving girlfriend, and very supportive parents in your life. Your recovery will be smooth, she said. Does anybody ever really recover from an attack? The thought of that I could recover was absurd. I knew I'd carry this cursed event for the rest of my life. Yes, you can recover. Recovery doesn't mean that you're cured of hurt, pain, and suffering. It means that you learn to accept whatever's happened and move on. You must move on. Life doesn't stop, nor should you. You must find the positive, she said. A positive? No, I've heard it all.
I know what you're thinking, and I can read you like a book, she said. The positive here is that you and your parents are alive. It could have ended much worse, Josh. Yeah, I know. How are you handling the move? Oh, the new house? It's good. It's good, but... Dr. Young sat back in her chair and scribbled more. She flipped the page and waited for my answer. It's good, but still, it's not the original house. It's not our home. The other house was filled with so many happy memories. I wasn't even there when the movers came to take our stuff. It was just too painful. Well, you can make this new house into a home, she said. Time will reveal it to you. You will create new memories there. Remember, it's only been 3 weeks since you moved in. You're not even that far away from where you used to live. And think about it. You used to live in Lincoln, and now you're in the next suburb over in Sudbury. You still get to go to the same school. You get to remain in contact with your friends, go to the same mall, and the same places that you like. I'm happy about that, but... Go on, Josh. You can tell me, Dr. Young said with a soft voice. The blonde man. What about him? He told my mum that he would find me and he would kill me. Yes, I recall you telling me that. That is a horrible threat to make, but I believe that he didn't mean it. How do you know that? He asked.
I think he said that because he was angry that the police had arrived. Their plan was foiled. Reflect on this, Josh. If he'd really wanted to kill you, he would have done it. Yet he didn't. They're still out there, though. What if they're looking for me? Josh asked. Although they were never caught, I don't believe for a second that these drug addicts who live their life day to day are solely looking for you. Do you honestly believe that after all of this, they're still looking for you? She asked. I guess not. Massachusetts is big. Who knows if they're even in the same state as you? Plus, here's another thought. Who knows if they're even alive? What makes you suggest that? Josh asked. Josh, from what you've told me, they sound like hardcore drug addicts. I'm sure they don't hang around with good people. Addicts like them don't last long. If they're alive, they're most likely trying to find the next meal or their next hit. They could be in jail, for all we know. They were desperate men looking for something to steal, and unfortunately, you and your parents paid the price. Drug addicts are known to be violent and out of control, she explained. I wish my mother had never come home that night. I wish she'd stayed with her friends a bit longer. She'd have saved herself so much pain. Did you know she takes pills to sleep? I overheard her tell Dad that she's seen a psychiatrist too. Her shrink diagnosed her with post-traumatic stress disorder. Moving here was her idea. She couldn't stand the thought of being in that house anymore.
I'm not surprised at all, Josh. They are dealing with it in their own way. I'm going to give you another prescription for Valium, she said. and I want you to take it whenever you get another anxiety attack. Do not be afraid to take it. Your mother told me that you sometimes refuse to take it. Well, I don't want to resort to drugs, he said. That's just not me. These tablets are only tools to help you until you feel better, Dr. Young said, as she stood up and walked around her faded wooden desk. She opened the top right drawer and took out a prescription pad, quickly jotting down the necessary information. Josh thought to himself, why do I feel like such a failure, knowing that I have to take these goddamn pills? I don't even think they do anything. I once took them to help me sleep, yet I was awake until 3 in the morning. How are you with noises, Josh? Dr. Young asked, walking back to me. You mentioned last time that you're avoiding certain noises. She sat down and handed me the prescription. I folded it and tucked it into my jean pocket. Sudden noises make me jump. You're still on edge. I recommend that you stay away from any stimulants like coffee, sugary drinks, and anything that contains artificial ingredients. I'll give you a list of foods and drinks you need to avoid before you leave. Thanks, I said, tilting my head up to the ceiling. The ceiling fan was right above me, and it suddenly made me feel uneasy. I imagined it falling on top of me. Suddenly, 3 sharp knocks at the door startled me. I could feel hot blood rush to my face. I looked at Dr. Young like a scaredy cat, and I could see how annoyed she was.
A young brunette woman poked her head in, her glasses hanging on the bridge of her nose. I'm so sorry, Josh. Angela is our new receptionist. This is the second time she's done this today. I sincerely apologize. Angela, can it wait? Sorry, your 1:30 appointment has arrived. I couldn't call you because the lines are broken again, Angela explained. That's fine. Tell her that I'll be with her soon. Sure, the receptionist said. The look of embarrassment on her face was evident because her cheeks were flushed red. I'm working on having our lines fixed. Meanwhile, I have to deal with her knocking at the door to let me know when someone's arrived. Oh, was the only thing I could say. I just wished she could have knocked more softly. I felt my heart racing again and my skin felt prickly, Josh thought. Now, as for you, I want you to go home and enjoy yourself. Enjoy your life. I'm right here if you need anything. I want to see you in 2 weeks. Angela will make another appointment for you outside. Stay strong, Josh. This will pass. Are you sure? Josh asked. I know it will. I've had other patients who've had similar experiences. You're not alone. With care and attention, they've all made it out on the other side scar-free. Now go and enjoy your new home. Explore it, Dr. Young said, as we both stood up. She guided me to the door and smiled warmly. You can do it, Josh. I know you can. I honestly don't know if I can, Josh thought.
Dr. Young smiled again, took a soft hold of my shoulders and guided me to a mirror that was placed on my left-hand side. Look in the mirror, Josh. See that person? That's you. Yes, you. You're a survivor, Josh. You're only 18 and you have the world at your feet. You can do whatever you want. I stared at myself. I looked broken. My short brown hair was messy and my skin looked oily. My overly used blue t-shirt had a new hole near the neckline and my shoulders were slumped forward in defeat. Why did my brown eyes look so sad? Now for all our listeners and viewers, this is cutting now to a new scene where Josh is standing in front of his home.
So his session with the psychiatrist has ended. He's gone home now. So
Standing in front of the new home that he doesn't like that much. And here we go. I stood before our new house and the rain tapped my head and shoulders. The clouds above rolled in, like the rolling waves you'd see if you were underwater at the beach. Instead of being blue, these waves were grey and black, pushing down an icy cold breeze that almost hurt my skin. I should have brought a jacket with me, but lately I'd been forgetful. I knew the days of sunshine and warmth were over. Winter had arrived, with the cold and the rain. The news reported that the winter would be unusually chilly with lots of rain, Great, I thought, and continued to stare at the house, our new home that Dr. Young said I would create new memories in. To be honest, the more I looked at the house, the uglier it looked. It was much older than the other house. Sure, it was much bigger, and it had more windows and plenty of space in the front.
The lawn was huge, but there was something about this house that didn't settle well with me. It looked like a dark castle, and it had a unique look. I wondered why the previous owners had left. I looked at the front door, dark brown, old and heavy. The door looked solid, as if it were meant to keep out dangerous things. Maybe having such a sturdy-looking door was not a bad thing. This time I would ensure that all doors were locked. I remembered all the times when Mum had told me off for not locking the laundry door in the other house. I would come home from school, walk in through the laundry room, dump my school bag in the kitchen. I would always forget to lock the laundry room door. That's why it had been so easy for the addicts to break in. They hadn't even had to break in. Because of me, they had simply walked in. It had been my fault. I knew it was. I focused my attention back on the house, back on the door. I still didn't like it. My eyes traced over the dark bricks that formed the house, the stained glass windows and the wild ivy plants that travelled around the house, and the black tiled roof like long, creepy fingers. This two-story castle might be immaculate on the inside, but I knew it was old. Still, I knew I was closer to everything. School, the mall, my friends, Chris and Ken, even Emma. I just didn't like this house, and that someone else had lived here before. Why did this house seem uglier the longer I stared at it? I unlocked the picket fence gate and stared at the old mailbox to my right. It was metal, white, and tilted to the side, causing raindrops to trail off it. I walked up the concrete steps. Each step felt softer as the wet leaves that were scattered everywhere.
I placed my hand on the golden door handle. When I opened it, the smell of something baking escaped from the house, and I could hear Mum talking on the phone. She sounded happy. This brought a sudden smile to my face, and I thought to myself, maybe this could work. Maybe it could be home, and just maybe I should give this dark castle a chance. Yeah, so that's the end of chapter 1, titled It Begins.
So what have we learned already? We've learned that Josh, he's had a session with his psychiatrist, Dr. Alan Young.
Yep.
He's not a typical teenager. I would say, very different. He's experienced a traumatic experience, and we learned already on the first chapter that he's seen a psychiatrist and he's dealing with his anxieties.
Yeah, he's got very, very bad post-traumatic stress disorder, and he's a very big thinker. And the more we read, you'll discover that he thinks a lot, actually, which is not, I wouldn't say it's a very typical 18-year-old does, but he has gone through a lot, and he's already resenting this house. There's something about it that just doesn't click with him.
Yeah.
And he's trying his best, and he makes the decision at the end of chapter 1 that he will absolutely try his best and try to create memories, but there's just, like we said, something about it that just doesn't sit right with him.
He's just got this feeling about this house that just doesn't feel right.
Not,
so
obviously, as other readers who are aware of what happens in the world of the Night Owl Chronicles, nothing ends really good.
No.
So chapter 2 is going to get a bit darker.
Yeah.
So obviously chapter 1 is more of gives the readers a background. Yeah, like an introduction about what's going on and what's going to happen. And does it get very dark, Sam?
It does, absolutely. So as we read further and further into the chapters, you will find out what exactly is going on with this door.
Yes,
so
nothing good. So, in conclusion, I would actually like to thank everybody for listening, and for those watching our YouTube channel, thank you for watching us, for taking the time out of your day to listen and watching us for as we read chapter 1, which was called It Begins. So, so if you're new, please follow and subscribe to our iTunes podcast and also to our YouTube channel, all titled The Night Owl Chronicles. We're also on all the social media sites, and you can see more of us on our official site titled thenightowlchronicles.com, and there you can also purchase the door. There's actually a link there, so you can purchase it through our website or head straight to Amazon, where you can get the ebook or the print book version, the paperback version of the door.
Yeah.
Whichever you want.
And also, some final words. I would like to thank 3CR Radio, and I also want to thank Nikki for her amazing talent as well, for helping us for today. A big thank you to our readers. Thank you for your support. If it wasn't for you, wouldn't be here. So
Exactly.
Thank you for your wonderful feedback and following us. We love you guys.
Use are the reason why we do this, because we
That's
love
right.
writing, and of course we're not going to be writing romance. We love things that scare you, so
Well, remember, we are here to scare and entertain you.
exactly.
So, as a last final words, remember to follow the owl.
Follow the owl, everyone, and we will see you next week as we read chapter 2.
Okay. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.